Ada truly believed Daniel was different. She met Daniel during her NYSC year in Ibadan. She was posted to a private school while he worked at a small tech hub not far from her lodge. They met through a mutual friend at a roadside suya spot. No love at first sight, nothing fancy, just conversations that flowed easily and laughter that felt natural. Daniel was calm, soft spoken, and attentive. He walked Ada home after evening fellowships. He checked on her every now and then. When she complained about money being tight, he never made her feel small. He didn't promise heaven and earth, but he promised sincerity. And to Ada, that was enough. By the time her service year ended, they were deeply in love. Daniel talked about marriage when things stabilized. He spoke about building a life together in Lagos. He called Ada my future. He introduced her to his friends. Ada believed she was safe. Then, one morning, two lines appeared on the test strip. Her hands shook, but her heart stayed calm. Daniel will understand, she told herself. She invited him over that evening, cooked rice she barely ate. When she finally told him, Daniel didn't say a word. He didn't walk away, he just went quiet. Are you sure? He asked. Yes, Ada replied. That night, he held her, but his mind was far away. Daniel stopped calling every night. When Ada talked about clinic visits, he changed the subject. He complained more about work, about stress, about how life was already hard. One evening, after days of tension, he finally said what had been sitting in his chest. I think you should keep the pregnancy. Ada exhaled in relief. Thank you, she said. We will manage. Daniel's face tightened. No, you misunderstood. Ada frowned. Misunderstood what? I don't want to be a father, he said flatly. At least, not now. The words didn't make sense. But you said. Yes, I said you should keep it, he interrupted. I don't believe in abortion, but I can't take responsibility. Silence filled the room. You want me to have the baby alone? Ada asked. Daniel shrugged. You are strong, you can handle it. That night, Ada cried until her chest hurt. From then on, Daniel became someone she didn't recognize. He avoided conversations about the future. When Ada asked about support, he accused her of pressuring him. When she cried, he said she was being dramatic. When she asked for commitment, he accused her of trapping him. Other times, he acted normal, laughing, joking, then switched back to cold distance the moment the pregnancy came up. The confusion broke Ada more than anger would have. She felt trapped between loving a man who once treated her like gold and facing the reality of who he was becoming. One day, she asked him directly, will you stand with me as the father of this child? Daniel looked away. I don't want my name involved. That was the moment something in Ada died. She realized Daniel didn't hate her. He didn't even hate the baby. He just loved himself more. He just didn't want to take responsibility. And love without responsibility is just convenience. Ada stopped begging. She moved back to her mother's house in Owerri. She went for her clinic appointments alone. She learned to sleep through the night without his calls. Slowly, painfully, she rebuilt herself. Daniel called less and less. Months later, when Ada's belly was heavy and her strength tested daily, Daniel sent a message. I hope you are okay. Ada stared at the screen for a long time. She didn't reply because by then she had learned something important. Love that disappears when responsibility shows up was never love, it was comfort. Ada gave birth on a rainy morning. No Daniel, no calls, no messages, just pain, sweat, and a tiny cry that filled the room. She named her son Chike. Life wasn't easy. She worked small jobs. Some nights she cried quietly so the baby wouldn't hear. But slowly, strength replaced fear. Love replaced disappointment. Months passed. One evening, Daniel sent a message. I heard you delivered. Congratulations. Ada read it. She didn't reply. Weeks later, he sent another. I would like to see the baby. Ada finally responded with one word. Why? Daniel didn't answer. Years later, Daniel sat alone in his Lagos apartment. Life had moved forward, but something was missing. He had dated other women. None stayed. Whenever conversations turned serious, fear returned. Responsibility still scared him, but regret followed closely behind. One day, he saw a photo online. Ada and a little boy holding her hand. The boy looked like him. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He remembered the way Ada used to laugh, how she trusted him, how she begged, not for money, but for presence. He realized something too late. He didn't lose Ada because of the pregnancy. He lost her because he chose comfort over courage. Daniel finally understood that wanting a child without being a father was not morality, it was cowardice. But some realizations come when the door is already closed. Ada raised her child with dignity. Daniel carried his regret in silence. Because in life, the consequences of running from responsibility don't always chase you immediately, but when they do, they stay. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. See you soon. Bye.